Welcome to Module 4, which is confidently dealing with anxieties and fears. Just to recap, as we've gone over the previous modules, we've looked at changing direction into authentic confidence and loving who we be. We've looked at dealing with our internal accusers by identifying our confidence weak spots and dealing with that internal accuser. But what I want to look at in this module are there are things that make us anxious and worried that have really nothing to do with our confidence weak spot. It's to do with life. We may have financial worries, we may have bills to pay, there may be things we want to plan for that we're worried about in terms of will we have the time to do it, will we have the health to do it. There's stuff that comes through the news all the time about whether it's the weather, wars, the environment. But there are things that in everyday life that can give us anxieties and worries, and I want to look at how do we deal with that. Because in order to move forward, we want to see not only how we have developed authentic confidence, but how does that really help us? How does our authentic confidence really help us to move forward and deal with anxieties and fears? So let's turn to the workbook and look at the first model. And in this model you see you and me just sitting on our little vehicle journeying through life, and you'll see from the model that we can have things in our future that are positive and things that we bring from our past into our future that are very positive. I'm reminded of going on holiday to Greece. I'm looking forward to it. Why? Because I've got wonderful memories from my past of previous visits that were wonderful. At the same time, we can have things that make us fearful of the future and negative about our past. For example, I'm going to go whitewater rafting, and I'm thinking I'm looking forward to going whitewater rafting. But then what happens is a little memory from my past comes up about the time I was in a pond and I nearly fell in and got really wet. And at the same time, one of my friends says, "Libby, you want to go whitewater rafting? But if you fall out the boat, how embarrassing." And I'm thinking, embarrassment? Oh, this is pressing all my buttons. And so as I think about it, the anxiety and the fear of maybe falling out the boat, of maybe getting wet, of maybe being embarrassed, can be so powerful that the internal accuser finds a backdoor way of jumping up, and if we looked at the next model, grabbing hold and pulling me back into losing my trust about doing the whitewater rafting. I'm not sure if I can trust the people who are doing this. Will they really look after me? Will I be safe? And because I lose my trust, I lose my peace. Oh, I'm getting really worried about this. I don't think I really want to do this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I just don't feel really at peace about this. I feel quite disturbed about this. And then I move into losing my joy, where I've been thinking, oh, I'd love to go whitewater rafting. Now I'm thinking, might fall out. I'm really anxious about this. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this at all. This isn't so good. And then before I know it, my hope goes, because where I was thinking, oh, I'm really looking forward to this, going to whitewater rafting, now I'm thinking, I hope I don't bother doing this at all. I think I'm just going to bail out, because in my self-talk, the anxieties and fears about what might happen, what is projected into the thing, and it drives my emotions, and I'm thinking, I'm confident I could do this. I know I can be my authentic self, but I'm just a bit worried about everybody else and everything that's going on. And so you'll see that you're pulled down the way in this, and you start moving into a cycle which reinforces anxieties and fears through distrust, loss of peace, loss of joy, and loss of hope. So how do we deal with this? And because what we really want to be doing is, as you'll see in the next model, is to be falling forward and moving from hope and joy and peace and trust. So how do we do that? And the key to it is going back to what we talked about in Module 1. What do you love about who you be? Changing that direction, because you will deal with anxieties and fears exactly the same way you dealt with the internal accuser. When the thing comes up that makes you start to feel anxious and you feel yourself sliding backwards into distrust, losing your peace, your joy, your hope, if you actually stop and hold yourself in this moment and say, wait a minute, in this moment is all well. In this moment, How am I about myself? What is there in about who I be that I trust in who I be? What is it I'm hoping for? Well, I'm hoping to have a great time going whitewater rafting. And this internal accuser might try and pull the words from friends, oh, but you might be embarrassed. And you say, naff off. In this day, all is well. So I'm going to enjoy going whitewater rafting, and I'm going to not only enjoy it, but the more I think about it, I'm at peace because I know the people running the thing, I can trust them. And because I trust them, I'm going to not only hope for a better experience, I'm going to really enjoy it. I'm going to go out and enjoy whatever comes, because the truth is, if something goes wrong and I do get wet or I slip out the boat, I'm not going to make an embarrassment of myself. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to just enjoy being with people and enjoy being the presence and the gift of who I be to this situation and really enjoy it. And this is a fabulous way of dealing with anxieties and fears. It's to not ignore it, is to look at it and then pull it back into the perspective of who am I in this day? How are things for me in this day? And I will choose good in this. I will choose to expect good. And I just want to say that as a habit for reinforcing authentic confidence, choosing good, choosing to stand on the truth, to be centered on who you be. Because here's the key: if you center yourself on who you are, and you're facing situations, whether it's to do with going whitewater rafting and in business, and I'll come to an example about this in a second, if you make choices that keep you in peace, keep you in hope, keep you in joy, then you will stay on an even keel, and you'll start to tilt forward, and you build a habit of falling forward into good things. I just want to give you an example around this, because I think it's really important to reinforce this part. I remember, at one point, there was a business fellow who was chatting with me, and he'd been given the opportunity of moving and expanding his business, but it meant taking on quite a big loan. And lots of people were saying, yeah, take it on, you've got to do this, got to do that, got to the next thing. And he was getting really under pressure about it, and he stopped, and he was getting quite anxious and worried, losing sleep, because if I take this on, what does it mean? What happens if it goes pear-shaped? And as he looked at who he be, which was somebody with wisdom, with integrity, with honesty, what he realised is that were he to take this loan on, it might mean he'd expand the business, but he'd lose his hope, he'd lose his peace, he'd lose his joy because of worries, and he lost control. So what he did was, he thought, what will I do that will give me hope? And so what he did was, he decided not to take the loan, because he kept centered on, in this day, what's the best decision to make? And he had the confidence, the authentic confidence based on his own qualities and talents to say, I'm not taking this, but I'm going to fall forward into hoping that there will be an alternative solution. And he started to look at alternatives to having this loan. And out the blue, somebody came up and put money into the business with no interest, no charges, and it was not even a collaboration. It was just, here's a gift, and I'll get it back when you've got it. And the business went the way his dream went, but without the anxiety and fear. And the key to it was he'd made choices around what kept him at peace. So, have a little reflection on your exercises in this module. Think about your anxieties and fears and that internal accuser where it might pull down, but look at what you're making choices on for this day and in this place, and fall forward. Choose to build a habit of falling forward into hope and joy and peace and trust. Fantastic. So, again, notes, anything that's been really valuable for you, pop it in the review section at the end. And I really look forward to taking you on to an amazing model in the next module.